just having a little mooch about really. I've been out for a while really. I mean, plenty of excuses not to get out and about, so I'm having a little mooch about, maybe have a little camp up this way. I'm just outside Hertfordshire. Well, I'm just outside Hertford really. Just gonna have a little look, see what's available over the moment. I think things got really busy up this way since people can't go away, so I've got to be a little more careful where I camp. I'm just off the Hertfordshire Way, which is really beautiful, but it can get a little bit busy, and there's a lot of dog walkers, and you get horses and things and all kinds of stuff. So it's the old thing, you know. You got to come late and leave early, but you got to be a bit careful. There's no real public access land up this way, so it's not like being in Scotland or even in one of the parks. You know, you got to be a little careful, and you got a lot of busy people. So that's what I'm doing this afternoon. I'm just gonna have a little quick mooch about. Got me tiny little decathlon. I don't even call it a backpack really. I don't know what you'd call it. It's more like a, I don't know, something you put on your shoulder, like a little bag, but it's great for a little camera, a little bottle of water, and I just brought a tiny little bit of coffee. I'm not going to make any coffee up here. Got a little thermos. I'm going to dip into a little wood that I've had my eye on for quite a while. I'd like to maybe do an overnight little stealth in if I can, but we'll see. I mean, if it's busy, really, I meant to come up here earlier this morning and take a look what it's like first thing, because I mean, last thing at night, it's never a judge. It's when you're leaving in the morning when you can get spotted doing stuff, and obviously you don't want to cause any friction with people. So yes, I'm going to have a little look up it. It's a beautiful part of the world. So maybe 20 miles outside London, just over the 25, M25. So there's, I mean, the Hertfordshire Way is quite a reasonable long distance walking path as far as paths go. Get across this all different kind of settings and things. Yeah, so I'm going to have a little look, have a little mooch about, have a little coffee at my little old-fashioned thermos, and take note, and maybe I won't be out tonight, but maybe tomorrow night possibly, or later in the week, and see what we can do. I've had a few places up here before that it's okay, but it has got really busy with the lockdown stuff because people aren't going away. And I was in a shop last week, and so many people are buying so much camping kit, so presumably these people are camping somewhere. I mean, they're not all like car camping. So it's like late afternoon now, so it's still late for a good 3-4 hours, so gives you plenty of time to have a look and see what's around. I mean, it's a beautiful day. I've just got to get out earlier, really. I mean, cut down work and get out there on the trail, so to speak. I mean, my office is pretty close to the Hertfordshire Way, and I live around this way as well. So yeah, it's just on my doorstep, and I've always walked it, but over the last few months I've slowed it down a bit. But you know, let's give it a go, see what we can find. I've got a fair bit of the old lockdown lard sitting around over the last 18 months. We really need to get back out on the trail really and shift a fair few pounds there. I've been back down the gym, you know, since things have been back open, but you know, it's kind of hard. You know, cardiovascular stuff really does help to burn it off, and I think sitting around sometimes can really, I mean, I work in video and editing and stuff, which you never believe from looking at some of this footage, but this is done on my phone when I'm walking around. But you know, I work in video and editing. Sometimes that can be an incredibly sedentary job, depending on what the job is. So you can be sitting there all day at a desktop, or you know, you might have a day out and take a laptop with you. But you know, it can be that. So you got to get up every like 45 minutes. And normally I would go to the gym, or I would fit things around or do things. But with lockdown, it's been a little bit more difficult because you've always got to schedule what you're doing, and it's the same with hiking and walking and camping and stuff. You just got to be a little more circumspect, and when these barriers get put in the way, you always find an excuse not to do something. So I think it's finding an excuse to do something really. So this is what I'm doing this afternoon, back out on the trail again. Yeah, I was going to put a little microphone on this afternoon. Yeah, I have one of those iPhone mics, but this is like a newer phone. This is a iPhone 12 Pro that I'm using here, so I'm just kind of messing around with it for shooting stuff. I was going to use a GoPro action camera for this walk this afternoone, but I picked this phone up last week, so I'm trying one out. But I've got an old Rode, I think it's an iPhone ME and MEL or ME, so it's got a different connector. So I've tried a few jacks to fit it in, but I'm not sure how that's going to work, and you're going to get any kind of problems with breaks on the audio. So you know, I'm just using the built-in mic. So I do apologise for any wind noise. I may buy the Rode, the actual one that fits in the lightning connector. And I've bought a few adapters, but you know, this can be messing around and whatever. Whereas the old Rode Micro did fit really well. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not so great with action cameras. I always find that the lenses always tend to get scratched. You you know, buffing them out or trying to replace them, and to me it's never great. But hey, you know, people love them. Maybe the Insta might be good for this type of stuff, but I think the kind of phones are getting much better for this type of stuff. When you're out, because the best camera you've always got is the one you've got with you, and we've all got a phone with us generally, and the cameras on phones are generally pretty good. I mean, I think this is in 4K. No, I think this is. I'm using the front-facing camera because I'm looking into it, and I think that's 1920 1080. I'm not sure. I haven't really checked it. It could be 4K, but hey, using 4K on these things, I don't know if anybody's an editor out there, but put 4K on the timeline and your computer's not up for it, man, you're going to have a busy evening with your proxies and various other things. You know, I'll put a link somewhere. Maybe I won't, but a proxy is like a file that you kind of use because it's less resolution than a regular file. Then when it comes to finishing off, you kind of use the regular file. But hey, so yeah, let's just go with this phone and see how it works out. But it seems pretty good at the moment. God knows what it's like as far as stabilisation is concerned. Hertfordshire Way is like super quiet, depending on when you come up here, obviously. I remember one New Year's Day it was actually. I got up really early to catch a sunrise. So I hacked up. I had a video camera, I had a stills camera. I wanted to maybe do a time lapse. I was all set up to go, and it just didn't happen. I mean, it happens sometimes. You know, you kind of miss it. You know, it's too misty, too low-lying cloud on things. I hadn't checked an app. You know, I was doing it old school way, like looking at the sky the night before. So yeah, so I'm coming back. You know, little kind of dejected. You know, but I didn't see a soul on the Hertfordshire Way that time of the day. And you sometimes do get a few dog walkers who are pretty keen. And I was walking back. You know, because as I said, I live pretty near here, and I still missed it. It was like, I don't know what time sunrise is on New Year's Day, but it's pretty damn about 7ish, I imagine, roughly, because you're not long past the shortest day, so you're getting probably 1.5 minutes a day. So not much. So probably about 7, maybe 7:20, and yeah, suddenly I hear a noise, and my instinct kicked off, and I look around, and I hear a woman scream out something, and there's a dog chasing through the field. You know, it's a pretty kind of barren field because it's in January, so there's not much growing crop-wise. I'm a city boy, so I don't know what's growing anyhow, but and it was like saying, as I say, like saying out of the hands of the Baskervilles, and this woman was calling this dog off. I've got this big chunky Manfrotto tripod, thinking, hey, this is not good, man. This is not good. I've missed my sunset or sunrise even, and I've got a tripod, and I think this dog's getting close. If it gets too close, you know, how good am I with this tripod? You know, I'm okay at leveling it, but what else can I do with it? So anyways, the dog backed off, but you know, it was like a terrible morning. But as I say, I didn't see another soul, you know, all the way back home, and it wasn't a great start to a new year. I don't think it was a good year as it goes, but hey, you know what? I did make the effort, and you know, as I say, it's a great spot on the Hertfordshire Way, but there are a lot of dog walkers at times, but most times it's pretty quiet when you pick your moments, you know, and that's what I'm doing up here. You know, obviously I'm a bit like, you know, blending in with the old bandana. You know, it's like obviously like really good camo colours if you're in some psychedelic party. But hey, let's crack on and see what we can do. I suppose just pick a spot for a recce, really. There's a lot up here. It's as I said earlier, it's so quiet. So there's a lot of shooting goes on. I don't know what the shooting season's like. Things go off in the night sometimes with the anti, I don't know what they are, those kind of things that go off. I remember about car barrels, God knows what they're called. But yeah, there's a lot to look at. It's very quiet, as I say. Still haven't seen anybody, so I'm gonna have a little look around and see what I might be doing later this week, if it's viable still up here. I think it will be done, so we shall have a look. I got to say that wasn't the most successful of recce's. I tried a few woods and it's pretty ticky. There's a few water sources here, so it's mosquitoes. So I think I'm going to be really careful there. I'm not sure I've been bitten or ticked out. We'll have a look when I get home. Just got to be careful, you know. It's these ticks and stuff, and I can't think what is it. The stuff from the deers that's from the States. Is it Lyme's disease and stuff? You've got to be so careful, man. That has some like major effects if you get hit with that. So yeah, so it's been an interesting little walk. Where I was gonna like pitch up this week is not looking like a good option. But you know, it's the great thing about it. I mean, it's not been a great successful trip, but that's the thing about doing a recce, right? It's if you've got a chance to do a recce, if you're on a long distance path, obviously you haven't. You've got to side of a field and do that. I wanted to do some woods, but they've become very overgrown and very like. I mean, maybe that's a lack of maintenance, but you know, be really careful. So I'm gonna maybe go slightly further over than what I normally would, and find somewhere to pitch up later this week with a bit of luck, depending on work-related stuff. And I'm gonna be weather dependent. I don't want to get washed out either. But you know, it's been a nice little afternoon trip. Yeah, got me out of the office for a few hours either way, and tumbled down a few things, and I'm sure I got bitten a few times as well. But hey, you know what? I've got some coffee and. Not great coffee, but it's out of a flask, and it's a nice. I made it with a Hario 1 cup pour. You know, put it into a flask. Yeah, it's good stuff. So you know what? It wasn't totally wasted, anyways. I know that I can't pitch up where I wanted to, so that can only be a good thing. Back in the office now. Didn't quite work out with exactly what I wanted, but it was a little bit of an adventure. And you know, you got to get out of the office door or the house door to have any kind of adventure. We just sit there watching TV all afternoon and popping beers or you know drinking coffee or whatever it is you do, you know, and wasting time. Yeah, the thing is, you just don't know what's going to come out of anything. And something always comes out of something. You know, I now know that I can't do a certain thing on a certain pitch up in certain places I have previously. But the amazing thing is, I didn't see a person until I got back off the footpath, and I had a good old like 6-7 mile walk, I suppose. You know, it's astonishing how quiet it was. Maybe it's the football. It's because we were kind of like with the Euro stuff going on. I mean, I think the England game is this week. Well, it's tomorrow, I think. So being Saturday, so that would be Sunday. But hey, there you go. It was it was a nice little walk, nice little adventure. I've been bitten to death, I think. Burn off a few calories, put up a few steps. You know, my phone stopped because I was doing a lot of filming and taking some photos. Stopped towards the end of my walk, so I'm not exactly sure how far I'd walked and what I did. Probably about 6 to 7 miles, maybe a little bit further. But I was pretty tired. I'm glad I didn't do it with a full pack or anything, you know. Which is why you do a good recce first, I think, if you're going to do something like that. I mean, it wasn't like I was doing a long distance path, but hey, I really enjoyed getting out and making an effort, and that kind of works for me, really. You know, it's not everything's always a great success, and you know, and the thing is with great successes, every time you want out it's a great success. You know, you wouldn't really appreciate it. So you know, you got to have the rough to appreciate the smooth, and it wasn't rough, but it certainly wasn't smooth. So yeah, thanks for watching, and keep your eye out for any more videos. Thank you.